And they're off. Magic Account rockets out, opens up a couple in the first few jumps. Montana, left-hand man, are second and third. Austonian on the far outside. At the rail, it's 40G, about 3 lengths off the lead, and 2 clear of Be Punctual. Magic Account passes the half-mile pole, leading the way 3/4 of a length. Left-hand man second, and then Montana at the rail third. Austonian now inches up willingly on the outside. There goes Austonian with a 3-wide bid after the leader. At the back are 40G and Be Punctual. It's Magic Account midway on the far turn, maintaining a half-length lead. Left-hand man in second and Austonian a length behind in third. Then Montana fourth, has 4 lengths to make up. 40G is next. Be Punctual last. They're at the top of the stretch. And left-hand man is up in between horses. Montana looking for room. Austonian has a clear shot on the outside as Magic Account weakens. 16th pole. It's left-hand man or Austonian. Left-hand man a length to Austonian, who's trying hard, but it will be left-hand man. Left-hand man a length and a half. Austonian was second. Montana third. Magic Account wins the photo for fourth. Asa comes to the outside. Pride of the Nile is fractious. And they're off. And Tell Me No Lies is going to the front. Blessed Touch is called on for speed and up to take the lead. And Feza is up close, moving into second. Justique is fourth, about 4 lengths off the early tempo. And Pride of the Nile at the back of the field. Blessed Touch goes very wide around the first turn, but clears off to lead it by about 2. Feza cuts right back into that margin second, and Tell Me No Lies is in third. They're followed by Justique, who's not far away, just 4 lengths off the lead. And it hasn't been a very smooth opening quarter for Pride of the Nile, who's at the back of the field. Down the back stretch they go. And the lead belongs to Blessed Touch, who passes the 5/8 pole in front by 3/4 of a length to Feza in second and Tell Me No Lies third. Pride of the Nile gets some breathing room at the rail in fourth, and Justique outside of her, still about 4 lengths, front to back, less than a half mile to travel. Hector Barrios and Blessed Touch, the controlling speed. Feza is called on now, though. And there goes Feza, quickening the tempo and putting her head in front at the 3/8 pole. Feza's just in front. Blessed Touch trying to fight back second, just a head away. 2 more, and Tell Me No Lies is in third. Justique 3.5 off the pace. And Pride of the Nile, 1/4 of a mile to go. And Tell Me No Lies coming with a 3-wide bid after Feza and Blessed Touch. Feza with the green cap just in front. At the rail, Blessed Touch running gallantly. And Tell Me No Lies, Justique goes over to the rail. They're in the final furlong. And it's Feza with a 2-length lead. And Tell Me No Lies into second. But Feza remains undefeated. She was fantastic, winning the Santa Isabel, pulling clear in the end to score by 3. And Tell Me No Lies was second. Blessed Touch third, then Justique. Lady Derby and Compton's House. They're in the gate. And they're off. Sugar, Sugar, but Blur's Day's a little bit quicker, and Moonlight in Heaven moves up in between horses. Lady Derby on the outside is fourth. Then comes Super Sense toward the inside fifth, followed by Compton's House, and Hot Rod Mama is 7 lengths off the lead. Blur's Day is the boss, leading the way by 3/4 of a length. Moonlight in Heaven, the Grays 1-2, moving past the 6 furlong pole. It's a length and a half behind them to Lady Derby in third, and Sugar, Sugar tucked in at the rail fourth in hand, and only 3 lengths off the lead. Hot Rod Mama is widest of all with the blue cap, racing on the outside of Compton's House, and Super Sense inside of that pair. Blur's Day, Moonlight in Heaven, past the half-mile pole, 1-2. It's Blur's Day leading the way under Ramon Vasquez, has it by just under a length. Moonlight in Heaven and Diego Herrera continue to press in second. 2.5 more. Sugar, Sugar, Hot Rod Mama, Lady Derby in between them. 4 in front of Super Sense, who's asked to pick it up. And now 3 to Compton's House. They're approaching the quarter pole. Moonlight in Heaven and Blur's Day still vying for the lead. Moonlight in Heaven takes the lead away now. Sugar's had a good trip, moves into the 2-path to challenge. And on the outside comes Hot Rod Mama. They're at the top of the stretch. Moonlight in Heaven holding off Sugar at this stage, who's a length and a half behind. Then Hot Rod Mama in third. They're coming to the 16th pole. And Moonlight in Heaven increasing the margin. Moonlight in Heaven will win convincingly, wrapped up late by Diego Herrera to score by 3.5. Sugar second, Hot Rod Mama third, then Blur's Day and Super Sense. Fans, it was recently announced that we will be and they're off in the San Simeon Stakes. Brickyard Ride is very quick. Anarchist on the outside, but Brickyard Ride will establish a clear-cut early advantage. Motorius is up close today, just a length off Brickyard Ride down the hill. And Sumter will come from off the speed. He's 4 lengths off the pacemaker. Anarchist is now just behind him. They're followed by What Makes Sammy Run. Respect the Code is second to last, and 4 more to count of Amazonia. Brickyard Ride loose past the half-mile pole, sailing along with a 2-length lead. Motorius trying to stay close to him in second. Then Anarchist and Sumter in the yellow colors at the rail. What Makes Sammy Run, Respect the Code, and Count of Amazonia white blinkers on the outside. Motorius makes an early bid after Brickyard Ride. He's right to him, and he takes the lead at the top of the stretch. Motorius with a powerful bid for the lead. Anarchist is 3 behind in third, then Sumter and What Makes Sammy Run. Motorius, a giant performance, opening up in the San Simeon. And it will be Motorius under Flavien Prat to win by 3. Second to Anarchist. Then Brickyard Ride, Respect the Code, and What Makes Sammy Run.
Here with
Here's
trainer
Millie
Phil
Ball.
Diamant. Motorius adds to a big weekend for trainer Phil Diamato, and Motorius winning here. Did you share the confidence of the bettors at 3-2?
They're in the gate. And they're off. Irresistible Force, Anybody's Choice, is coming swiftly on the inside. In Color comes away in third. Conceal and Carry in the Pink Silks is fourth, already 4 behind Anybody's Choice, who's absolutely winging to the half-mile pole. At the back of the field are Half Nelson and Cleekish. Flavien Prat with the pedal to the metal. Anybody's Choice has opened up a 5-length lead. Conceal and Carry, Irresistible Force on the outside, and In Color in between those two. Cleekish is 6 off the lead, starting to gather some nice momentum, though. There goes Cleekish now at the blue cap, and another 4 to Half Nelson. Anybody's Choice coming to the quarter pole, still with a 3-length lead. Cleekish moves clearly into second, and here comes Cleekish with the white blinkers with dead aim on Anybody's Choice, who has been collared at the top of the stretch, and Cleekish takes off, opens up, and is starting to pour it on. Cleekish and Mike Smith, very impressive, just opening up with authority. 5, 6, 7 lengths. It's going to be double digits for Cleekish, who towered over the competition to win for fun. Anybody's Choice able to hold second. Irresistible Force, and then In Color in front of Conceal and Carry. Hawker. Hawker going in. And they're off in the baffle. Helatic and Hawker are the first two out of the gate, but it will be Helatic to set the pace, sizzling away, opens up 4. Here's Kingdom Heart coming through from the inside. Wasn't that quick out of the gate, but it's pretty fast now, cutting into the leader's margin. Malibu Coast comes away in 3rd. They're followed by Hawker in 4th. Then comes Wizard of Westwood. Johannes is down at the rail with 6 lengths to make up. At the back of the field, Sharp is attack. Mi Hermano Ramon is with that group as well, and Golden Sombrero passing horses on the outside. They're heading toward the quarter pole, and it's still Helatic and Frankie Dettori in front by about a length, pursued by Kingdom Heart in second. Just in behind them, Wizard of Westwood has asked for a bit more now, shifting about down on the inside while attempting a rally. Johannes is looking for racing room. They're in the final furlong. Helatic, Wizard of Westwood in between. On the far outside, Hawker is picking it up. Johannes is trying to slice and dice through traffic, and here comes Johannes in a very tight spot, coming through under Umberto Rispoli, and Johannes flashes his brilliance in the baffle. Wizard of Westwood was second. Helatic 3rd, then Mi Hermano Ramon, and it was between Sharp as attack and Hawker to complete the super high 5. They're in the gate. And they're off. Very even start. Let's Rejoice is hustled pretty hard and responds by taking the lead. Liar Liar comes away in second. Down at the rail, it's Tiz Lightning with Octopus in between rivals, and Italiano is 3 lengths off the lead. Handsome Gary is next. It's a gap of 4 to Mighty Matt outside of Santa Cruiser, and then another length to Vicente's Shadow. Into the far turn, and it's Let's Rejoice showing the way. Let's Rejoice by a length. His stablemate, Liar Liar, is clearly second. Another 2 back to Octopus on the inside, a joint 3rd, with Italiano racing in 4th, now only 3 lengths off the lead. Handsome Gary is trying to get into the race now. He's 5th, just looking for a spot, coming through along the inside. 3 more to Mighty Matt, who's wide. And then comes Tiz Lightning there at the top of the stretch. It's still Let's Rejoice. Handsome Gary continues to make headway. Right next to him is Octopus. In the center of the track, Italiano, a driving finish. Italiano on the outside. Handsome Gary continues to come gamely. And in between them, Let's Rejoice, not done yet. Here is a wild finish that goes to Handsome Gary. Under Kyle Frey, wins a thriller. Let's Rejoice, Octopus, and Italiano were right there. And then in behind them, 5th was either Mighty Matt or Liar Liar. As Southern California's home of huge prizes and jackpots, Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel is the place for amazing concerts at their Yamava Theater. 2 more. They're in the gate. And they're off. Sharp start for Lovesick Blues going out to battle for the lead. Virat is very quick, but faster than both is Do It for Andrew. And Do It for Andrew comes through in Noble Reflection, and there's a lot of pace early on. So Noble Reflection is quick, is trying to cross over, and that was not comfortable for Dance Some Mo in between horses. Down at the rail, Do It for Andrew is next. Then comes Virat 4th, 4 lengths off the lead, followed by New York Dreams inside Lovesick Blues. Katona, yellow colors, widest of all with 5 to make up. It's another 2 back to Redline, and Forgiving Spirit is at the back. The leader is Noble Reflection coming toward the quarter pole. It's a 3-length lead. Do It for Andrew starts to cut right back into that margin second. Virat is in third. They're followed by Lovesick Blues on the outside, and then Dance Some Mo. They're at the top of the stretch. Noble Reflection confronted by Do It for Andrew, who's within 2 lengths. Noble Reflection digging in. Do It for Andrew trying to get to him in the final stages from the back. Forgiving Spirit. It's Noble Reflection, a length and a half close to home, and Noble Reflection pulls it off. Tight photo for second, very close between Forgiving Spirit and Do It for Andrew. Lovesick Blues was just behind them as well.
And a very good afternoon to one and all. It is Thursday here at the Great Race Place. Don't adjust your screens. We do have live racing. We have an 8-race card starting in approximately 66 minutes. We will also be racing every 15 minutes up at Golden Gate Fields. Their first post coming to you at 12:45. To help me through the Santa Anita Park card is my good friend, my happy hour buddy, and one of my best friends, the vivacious Michelle Yu. That's an introduction. Hurrah!
Yeah, huzzah! I like it. Wait, what do you mean Golden Gate's racing every 15 minutes?
Well,
So like between Santa Anita. So we're going, oh, good. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I was like, wait a second. They're like
Santa Anita 12:30, Golden Gate 12:45. We got a lot of action going on, and we've got about
action.
5
We want
minutes
action.
to have some fun before we dive in.
Only 5? Are we having shots?
What's in your mug? Did you bring your mug? Usually, if you see Michelle with a flask, there's something other than coffee.
That's not true. It's not a flask. My flask is hidden. You never see the flask. But I have my coffee cup. Yes, my travel mug. And I don't have my travel mug today. I just have my water bottle.
Okay, well, that's a shame.
Water.
I did see a couple of bottles of Vouv out there in the office that we may have to crack open later. I don't know who they belong to, but you better go and get them right about now. Now, Michelle, what have you done this morning? You came in a rush.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, every morning's a rush. So first thing is my daughter broke her ankle this week. So
not this morning.
Not this morning, just this week. And so instead of just like pulling up in the carpool line and being like, get out, I have to like physically park and like carry her in like a princess with all of her bags and accoutrement.
She loves that.
She does love that. We had to start with that, in which we had to get started early because she needed Starbucks.
She is her mother's daughter. You're giving your daughter coffee?
No, she drinks the hot cocoa.
Okay.
Hot cocoa and a croissant that she can dip. So we had to start with Starbucks. Then we had to do drop off. And then my mom is supposed to come help today because I wanted to get to the farm because we have 14 babies at the farm. And instead, my mother sat in traffic, and so she was late. So then I was late to get to the farm. Of course, the whole 605 freeway was shut down. It took me 40 minutes to get down to the farm. So I get there, and stalls haven't been done or anything. So I'm doing stalls, and I'm feeding, and I'm turning out 9 horses to turn out. Not really, but a lot of horses to turn out. And then like literally Ryan and Rubio come, they like get on their first set. I'm still doing stalls, and I look at my watch, and it's 9:46. I'm like, I haven't even gotten to ride 1 horse. So Ryan's like, how come you're not settled up? I'm like, because I have to leave in 8 minutes, and I still have to finish stalls. So I didn't even get to ride. I did not get to shower. I finally made it home. I shoved some food in my face. I did scratches. I got dressed. I combed my hair, and I made it here with 1 minute to spare.
Well, you look lovely.
Thanks.
You look lovely. Now,
I didn't get to ride though.
After
I'm just
all
disappointed.
that, I have some quick fire questions for you. I thought we'd have a little bit of fun here on the seminar.
Oh, you brought a little notebook.
I got a little notebook, and I have some questions. We'll start with the first one. If you had a warning label on you, what would it say?
Ooh, that is so good. Caution. Just caution. Not for it would probably be just like a rated R, because it would be like, language not appropriate for children.
Yeah, you're spot on there. Beach or mountains?
Oh, mountains. Every day I hate the beach.
Daily ritual?
Daily ritual. Okay, at night when I go to bed is my TikTok time. That is my daily. Everyone's in bed. I have insomnia. So like in between like showering, brushing teeth, putting kids to bed, and me actually falling asleep, I have this like gap. And I like to watch TikTok, and I try and save it all day.
She sends me the best TikToks, by the way, and they are very R-rated.
So I save it up all day, and so when everyone's asleep, I'm like, ooh, TikTok time.
If you could be any animal, what would you be and why?
I would be
a sloth.
No, I want to be something that flies. I'm something that soars. I want to be something because I have dreams all the time that I can fly. So I would love to be something that like
vulture,
maybe a bald eagle.
Yeah.
Either one of those is fine.
What fictional character do you relate to?
Oh, a fictional character. I relate a lot to Hermione because I'm a chit-chatty know-it-all, and I love to yell at the gentleman in my life. So Hermione for sure.
What is the thing you daydream about? If we can just see you staring off into the distance with your flask full of no alcohol in it, what are you dreaming about?
Oh, that depends on what time of day it is.
11 o'clock.
So if it's 11 o'clock in the morning and I am daydreaming, I am probably daydreaming about This will sound so stupid. I like to daydream about life if I could change it.
What would you change?
Well, like a lot of times I think about like, oh, what could I have done differently? And my dog Charlotte would still be alive. And I would think about, because I've probably yelled at my other dog now for doing something terrible. So I think about like, oh, if Charlotte was here, I wouldn't have had to just yell and pick up a dead chicken. I would have just been playing with Charlotte or snuggling. I think about things like that. And I also think about different ways I can style things in my closet.
Okay. Last picture on your phone.
It's Spencer eating ice cream. I'm sure of it.
Let's have a look. And
It
which
is.
book?
It is Spencer eating ice cream.
Oh, it's so
There he is.
cute. That's
was
so cute. Which book are you currently reading, and which book have you just finished? Because Michelle is an avid reader. We are always swapping audio books, whether we're listening to them or reading them. There's a lot of reading going on here, which may surprise a lot of people.
Okay, so on audiobook, I actually just finished Spare.
It's very good.
And I like that Prince Harry reads it. And then I just started like 2 days ago, Honor, which is about an Indian American woman who goes back to Mumbai and has to like settle some stuff in her life, whatever. So it's very intriguing so far. I really like it. We haven't gotten into like the whole reason why she's come back yet, but it's a good book so far. And then on like my Kindle, I just finished a book about the cartels. I forget what it's called. It's called maybe Bones. It might be called Bones. And then I just started a series, like a third book in a series, and the series is called The Land of the Long White Cloud. And it's basically this like same family that like came and they settled in New Zealand, and it's like 3 generations down. So like I'm in the third book. I don't remember the name of the book, but it's like part of this series that I
Lots
read.
of books.
The Fire Blossom Saga.
I'm reading How to Build a Girl and listening to a book called Horse, which is the
what's that?
long fabled story about Lexington, the horse Lexington. It goes backwards and forwards from like 2019 to the 1800s.
That's cool.
It's fantastic.
You know what I'm going to reread this week? I think because Billy and I were talking about it on our show. We were talking about like our favorite horse books. And for me, it's Ruffy and Burning from the Start. I'm like, yeah, I just haven't read it in a long time. I have it in my library. I think I'm going to reread it this week just for fun.
One more thing before we throw it up to Frank. Can you sing a couple of lines on a Tim McGraw song?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I went skydiving. I went Rocky Mountain climbing.
Eminem.
No matter how many fish in the sea, it'll be so empty without me. So that's a bad line. I can't sing that line.
Okay. Without further ado, let's hand it on up to Mr. Frank Miramati. Michelle will wrap in her own time. Frank.
Zoe, I can name that tune in 3 notes. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast and the turf is firm. Here are the early changes. In the first, scratch number 1, Mongolian Rocket. Scratch number 7, Chirag. Note that number 10, Anticipated, will run, and we have blinker notes in the start of the early pick 5. Race 2 begins the early pick 4. Just a blinker note. In the third, 8-race card today, Rainbow 6 starts with 26,000 in the jackpot carryover. No changes. The fourth is the start of the late pick 5. No changes. In the 5th race, scratch number 5, Cornelia Fort. Note that number 9 will run. Race 5, scratch number 5. In the 6th, no changes. In the 7th, we start the Golden Hour pick 4. Golden Gate is running today. Golden Hour pick 4 starts with the 7th, no changes. And in the 8th race, scratch number 5, Miss Joe's Candy. Golden Hour double starts with the 8th. Let's go back to the studio. Zoe Cadman and Michelle Yu are having a good time, and they're going to give you some winners coming up next.
We are 57 minutes to race number 1 at the Great Race Place. Frank Miramati looking for some winners. I thought we were just going to talk.
What kind of pressure was that?
I thought we were going to do our best The View and have a cup of coffee.
Also, it's time for our weekly meeting, so sorry, we're not in the meeting.
We're right here. Okay,
Yes.
Michelle, without further ado, let's get on and talk about the races. Race number 1, a maiden 50, going 6 furlongs on the turf course. Just a note, the rails are at 30 feet. What is your top pick in here?
My top pick in here is going to be your current 2-to-1 favorite because I like to be adventurous. Lasmu for Phil D'Amato found the friends last time, right? This particular level. He was dusted versus special weight. They put him in for 50. He ran a good second that day. He gets second time Lasix. For me, there's nothing really to dislike about him. So he is my top pick. I would feel relatively comfortable even singling.
Do you trust him? Because Jess works with us as well. She said he's not the most trusting sort. I love the fact Diego rode him last time. Or do you just feel that he's the best horse in here?
I mean, here's the thing. If it's not going to be him and you can't trust him, then I feel like you have to go 3, 4, even 5 horses deep. So it's depending on what direction you want to go. Are any maiden 50s particularly trustworthy? No, that's what it comes down to. So you can either depend on Phil D'Amato, who is winning at, a sparkling percentage, or you have to include Seismic Spirit. You have to include Cryptoholic for Ben Cecil. You have to include the slap on the class drop, and you have to include Giovanazza from Doug O'Neill because it's Doug O'Neill off the layoff trying turf. So again, 1 or 6.
Well, let's have a look at Cryptoholic's most recent one. Well, not most recent. This is back on February the 3rd. He gets blinkers on today. First time Lasix. We've not seen him since the 7th of August at Del Mar.
So I want to show this work because he is working with blinkers. And like you mentioned, it's a long time ago. Generally, I'm the person that I only like to show one of their last 2 works. But because he's coming off a layoff, this work on paper looks a little bit on the slower side. You can see he was held early. He's going to come super wide. And what it comes down to is down the lane, he doesn't have a ton of umph. But what I'm looking for is kind of a barometer of fitness. So when I see him here, he looks fit. Even though he's not increasing in speed despite being asked a lot, he doesn't look like he's tired and stopping. So the fact that he works this and then he comes back and works a 5 furlong work at a minute, and then 1 in 59, and then another slow one, and then another 5 furlongs. For me, he has to be fit today.
Yeah, he looks a little rotund there. So it's good it was quite a long way back.
He looked like me. I liked him.
All right, let's move along here and take a look at race number 2. Maiden $20,000 claimer going a 2-turn mile here on the main track. What say you, Michelle?
So I like the 2 in here. Batukin for Leo Powell. Talk about a horse that's kind of hard to trust. He hit the front last time, settled for second. Chicksaw ran him down late. He's coming in a touch fresh. So I like him in here as my top selection. I'm kind of on the fence about this other horse, and it's the 5 Storm and Chrome for Neil Drysdale.
I love him. I've always loved him.
I didn't love him until I watched a work from him, and he's just got this big, huge galloping strut. I think he's going to
Let's take a look at his work.
2 turns. Do we have it? Yeah, we do. Here it is. Okay, so watching this work, I was on the fence between him and Frost Alert, and you can see my picks went to Frost Alert, but then I saw this work after I had already sent my picks in. So I just love this work from him. To me, it looks like he certainly wants to go long, and it looks like he handles dirt just fine because he's getting over the training track right here. The reason we work turf horses over the training track is mostly because the turns are a little tighter, not necessarily because the surface is extremely like turf. It's still dirt is what it comes down to. But look, he's got a big, beautiful long stride right here. He's certainly bred to like the main track. So I like him in this particular spot. Plus, he looks like he's going so slow, right? If I told you that was 103, you would not doubt it. He covers that ground as effortlessly. He worked a minute flat.
And this is normal for him. I've lost money every single time.
He is a good workhorse.
He has run. So I'm not sure about Storm and Chrome. I do like the fact we get the bug by. About what?
Let's claim him. No?
I don't have any money. Let's have a look at Frost Alert here for trainer Steve Knapp. This was a good work as well. You got Edwin Maldonado up. This horse hasn't been out since the 6th of January this year.
Okay, so this is actually a horse that I've considered claiming in the past, and his works really turned me off of him. This work, though, I really like. I mean, he blazes 46 and change. Edwin the whole time was holding him back, especially early on. Now, when they come down here, you can see Edwin moving his hands a little bit, but it's not like he's asking him. His stick is sitting right there. Yeah, he's not doing anything. This colt's doing it all. all on his own. Subsequently, his last 2 works, though, on the handicappers report didn't score as high as this particular work. So I've tailed off again.
Well, he didn't go as fast. One little note on the 3-horse in this race, Whiskey Vision, will be ridden by Carlos Barbosa. Now, he's a 10-pound apprentice. Many of you may be familiar with the jockey agent Nelson Arroyo.
Yeah.
He's brought this kid in. He's been riding at Golden Gate the last 2 weeks at Golden Gate. He is 2 for 21 at Golden Gate and Camarero. He's a graduate of the jockey school over there. He's 18 years old, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do because he is a 10-pound apprentice.
Well, remember our last 10-pound apprentice that was very young, and that was Diego, and he's done great.
He's done great. So good luck to Carlos Barbosa, who will ride Whiskey Vision. We'll move on to race number 3, $32,000 claimers going a mile on the turf course. Rails are at 30 feet in here, Michelle, and there's an awful lot of pace.
There is a lot of pace. So I like the 1 horse in here, Sensible Move, an 8-to-1 morning line for Dean Pedersen. I think coming off the break last time, he certainly needed the out. So you can see he was, or she was relatively close. And then I thought just looked tired at the end. So you have the tune-up race under the belt going the mile, and you get to do this. I think the fact also that she can lay close or come from behind is going to help her, because either she breaks sharp and she ends up close to the front and they all have to use speed and close over to pass her, or she takes back right from the get-go and she's comfortable doing that as well. You don't end up with the maybe smoothest trip doing that, but at least she shows that versatility. And Tiago has been riding lights out right here, and I love an 8-to-1 shot. So that's my top pick.
That's your top pick, 8-to-1 in the morning line. I'm going to try and talk you on to Cheerful Charm. She's the 2 in here, 5-to-1 on the morning line for trainer Debbie Winnick. Go back and watch some of her last races. She's ranked. She's got trouble. I actually spoke to Ryan last time.
I wanted to see this. I'm making my pick 6 ticket right now. The 2 horses I used were the 1 and the 2 because I'm trying to stick away from favorites because it's, rainbow and stuff.
She got into trouble the last few starts. I spoke to Ryan after the race because I really like this 7-year-old mare. She's got the biggest, most wicked set of ears you ever saw, and I'm a sucker for a big set of ears. She's trouble. He's like, she's either rank or I'm in trouble or I can't finish. Like, she had nowhere to go last time. Nowhere to go. She gets a new rider because Ryan, I think, probably
Collarbone.
Pardon?
Ryan has a collarbone, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, she gets a new rider anyway.
Right.
So Luis Contreras does take over. Get well soon, Ryan Curatalo, if he does have a collarbone. That's from Michelle. I don't know. I just think she's better than she's shown.
I agree.
And that replay, watching that back, even watching it live, I still thought she was going to win at the 8th pole. So I'm going to throw in Cheerful Charm. This is a $32,000 claimer. Michelle, you mentioned claiming horses. You tend to put your money where your mouth is, and your husband, Ryan Hansen, will claim some horses. What do you look for as a team when you're looking to claim a horse?
Different things. We very rarely agree.
Do you agree?
I mean, sometimes, right? Like, obviously, there's like a couple obvious horses that we're both like, yeah, we should claim this horse. He likes conditions for sure. I like to look for a surface change or something like that. So Ryan likes to claim something like if there's a maiden 20 that looks like it can get beat, but we can win next time, that's the horse he wants to claim because you have the maiden breaker and then you have the non-2, the non-3, and then drop it to open 10, right? So that's like, he thinks ahead like that. For me, I'm like, oh my gosh, this, I don't know, outstrip has been only running on dirt. We should certainly claim it and try it on the grass today. So sometimes we see eye to eye, sometimes we don't, but it's very evident, even like when we buy babies, who likes it because that's whose name goes on it. So like if we have a horse that I pick out, it's Michelle Hansen on there. If we have a horse that Ryan picks out or buys into, it's Ryan Hansen on there.
Give me an example of something you've disagreed on.
Okay, well, he was right on this, but One More Bid. When we bought One More Bid, Ryan's like, look, this horse has a ton of potential. I'm like, I don't like chestnut horses.
What? Seriously?
Yeah. So we end up, he's like, no, this horse is going to be really good. And he was like a big, gangly, awkward looking guy when we bought him. But so Ryan's name is on One More Bid. And at the recent sale, at the CTBA sale, we each liked a Sir Prance a lot. So we ended up buying his through the sale and mine RNA'd. And we ended up buying him later for the price that I wanted. So we got both of them. So now he and I are like head to head with our Sir Prancelots to see which one's better.
Have you named them?
I think we're naming mine, who's not, he's got 2 white eyes. He's a very bad child. I think we're going to name him Havoc. And we have a couple partners in on the one Ryan liked. So he is still unnamed, and I call him something different every day.
We won't say what that name is. Okay, let's
No,
move on.
he's wonderful.
Oh, he's wonderful.
He needs a really good name, so we're waiting for a good name.
Race number 4, $16,000 claimers going six furlongs. What say you in here, Michelle? I believe you're looking towards the outside.
Indeed. I'm going to go with another Dean Pedersen horse in here, American Cat, taking the class drop down. Broke his maiden for 50, ran well versus starters. And now, you know, this big class drop, looking at it, he draws towards the outside and he has good speed. So if he's not on the lead, he should be able to get himself a pretty good trip. And I think there's a lot of things to like about him. It is, you know, interesting to see the placement because he did break his maiden for 50, and he ran well enough versus starter. You think, oh, maybe another try, but could just be a difficulty of getting races to go. And so that's why they're in here. Either way, I like him in this particular spot. The question mark horse for me is certainly the 4 Divine Rascal for Carla Gaines. I put him in here as well, but he broke his maiden special weight, right? He's exclusively tried allowance foes since. This is a massive class drop down for him.
He's a bit of a naughty boy, and Ricky knows how to handle him.
Yeah, I watched his works, and you can see he gets out a little bit, and he's got some, for sure. He's got some. Is he already a gelding? Yes, he is.
He's got some talent.
He's got some talent, but there's some quirks there. And Ricky was aboard for the work as well. He looked like he got over the dirt just fine. So you look at the times, he's getting over the dirt really well. So he's certainly interesting in here. Because of all the little things I see, I don't know if I would single him or anything, but he's playable, super playable.
How easy is trainer Dean Pedersen to root for?
So easy. Because he just walks over with this big old smile, and, you know, all his horses look good. And when they run bad, he's not like, oh, yelling at the jockey like me or anything. You know, he's like, oh, well, next time.
Good point. Okay, race number 5, 6.5 furlongs on the turf course. We're going on the flat turf course here. And this is a very, very good race indeed. And there are many, many ways to go. Rails are at 30 feet, Michelle. Where are you going in here?
All. I like the one Bye Bye Bugsy in here for Michael McCarthy. Broke the maiden for 62.50, going the mile on grass. Since then, went to Golden Gate, a mile in synthetic. So I'll just nick a line through it. And then last time did sprint and didn't run great in that particular spot, but the 6.5 might help out, just getting a little bit more ground to work with. I mean, the day she broke her maiden, she was on the lead the whole way. So I'm a little nervous about that aspect because maybe she's a horse that just gets brave when she's on the front. But maybe being on the rail here, Frankie's going to be forced to kind of just get her out there. And even if it's not necessarily what she wants to do, maybe he'll hustle her into a spot that makes her a little bit more involved.
Bye Bye Bugsy, the number 1 horse in race number 5 for Michelle with Frankie Dettori to ride. Michelle, what has Frankie brought to Santa Anita? Because
joy.
It's fun, right?
It's so much joy. It is. It's so fun to see Frankie walk in. He always has a kind word for whoever he passes by, whether it be the guy working at the front or some little kid standing on the rail. He always stops and says hi to us. He comes out, and every one of my horses that he's ridden, when the owners are out, they're like, I can't believe how charismatic he is. Like when Frankie Dettori talks to you, even if he's never met you before, you feel like you are the closest
person in the room.
Exactly. Like he penetrates you. So it's really amazing to have him here as part of this colony, because I think it's brought some new life and fervor to a lot of the guys. And I think it's fun to see Frankie on a day-to-day basis, because we've known him for so long as the, big time guy, right? Like a lot of people see Mike Smith. Oh, he's big money Mike. We only see him on really big days. But Frankie's out here riding maiden 20s and everything else and doing a darn good job of it. And it's really great to see someone, especially when he says like, oh, this is my last year and this is my last chance to get to see Dettori, and I get to see him doing amazing things every day.
We're talking about race number 5. Michelle, you also like the number 6 horse in here, Midnight Vow. Now, both of us use DRF formulator, so we'll generally go backwards and forwards on our notes. And what I have here, I've got notes on this filly from each of her every start. The first start, fat and wild. The next start, well-behaved, but still fat. She's still fat.
She's
but
still
I think
fat.
she's got a really good shot in here. She just broke a maiden by 7 and she was still fat. So I think she's generally training herself into shape.
That is just my one drawback is I don't like a first time versus winners type. So I'm, kind of on the fence, but I did like her enough to use her. And her recent work, 47 and change, good. She has a couple of these really good half-mile drills. So we'll see how much she weighs today. Do note that
What about your horse?
Yeah, the 9 Balenciaga Betty does draw in here. You'll see she is a maiden against winners because we, for some reason, can't seem to get a maiden 50 to go for any of our grass horses. So here she is against winners again because that's what we've been stuck with.
She's 4-1 on the morning line. She's not without a shot here. She's got good numbers from her last race.
Look, if we can pick through her PPs, she ran great on debut, needed some more ground. Then she got rained off and they kept her in the race on the main track. It was too far and she really didn't like the off going. Then she sprinted on the turf, ran fine again. She didn't make the crossing very well that day. And then we tried her a mile. Again, she does not want to go that far. And she got squished so bad. She got banged around. She had to see the chiropractor after that. Next time out, went back to the dirt. Again, she does not like that. So last time out, she finally got turf sprinting, which is what she wants to do, be a come from behind turf sprinter. And she was making up ground late. It wasn't a ton of ground, but she was certainly trying to finish. So maybe the little bit more ground today will certainly help her. And Umby rode her last time. He's going to stick aboard her. So all that's good. It would just be nice to begin with maidens.
Don't ignore number 9 in race number 5. That is Balenciaga Betty. We move on to race number 6, an allowance optional claimer. This is Statebred going 6 furlongs on the main track. Michelle, your top pick in here. It's the 5-2 morning line favorite, and that is Big Shamrock.
I like how you point out when I pick the favorite. You don't point out when I'm like, oh, 8-1, Michelle. Great job. You're
I'm
like,
just looking for the winners. You can brag afterwards. We'll just see how many you get throughout the day.
All right. So Big Shamrock is certainly the top play in here. I feel like you have to use this horse on top because she is running against these Calbred 20s. And the last 2 times that she has run in the Calbred 20s, she has been a daylight winner. And maybe not last time as much, but certainly the time at Los Al, she had really good horses chasing her. So I think that her form is good at this level, but you have to, you have to stick to this level.
Use the 2 and the 4 in race number 6, La Deuxième Étoile. Tell me about her, this 4-year-old filly by Nyquist.
I like this filly because she's been knocking on the door in her last couple. She's a typical Calbred, right? She runs dirt, turf, long, short. She actually hasn't won a race on the dirt, but I'm okay with that because she's run very well, including last time when she was beaten by Unwritten Code.
How good is she?
She came back last week to win again. I think that's 5 in a row. And she goes to the front and she just never looks back. She is tremendous right now on such good form. So because of that, to me, she holds a good form line. So I like La Deuxième Étoile.
Race number 7, Cardiff for 1.25 miles on the turf course. Yes, you heard that right. We will be running 1.25 miles. They start halfway up the hill here. It's an A other than condition. Purse of 72,000. Also the start of the dollar golden hour pick 4. Don't forget, we're running at Golden Gate today. 12:30 start time for us. 12:45 for Golden Gate. They have an 8-race card. What say you? 8-1 shot. Let me throw that in there.
Yes.
An 8-1 shot. Ajaweed for Michelle Yu in race number 7. That's her top pick. Are you happy?
Thank you. Appreciate that. Finally get credit where credit's due. I like Ajaweed in here for Vladimir. He tried grass last time, and I remember talking to Vlado before the race, and he's like, well, we know the distance is going to be suitable. I don't know about the turf. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's by Curlin. For sure he's going to love the grass here. And he just looks like a horse that wants to run on the grass. So I liked him that day. I like him back again. He got beaten by the Grey Wizard, and the Grey Wizard was clear that day, but the Grey Wizard had come out of a runner-up effort in the Hollywood Turf Cup. So he jumped into allowance company, so he did win that race really impressively and went on to run in stakes races. So I think that this horse ran so well, especially going 1.25 miles off of a layoff. With that race under the belt, he lines up against a lot of the same foes, and I'm surprised he's 8-1, to be quite frank with you.
You said something that pricked my ears. You said he's by Curlin.
Is he not?
For sure he's going to like the grass.
Oh my gosh, you scared me. I was sure that was the conversation.
But for sure he's going to like the grass. Is Curlin throwing a lot of grass horses?
I feel like all the Curlins
he
really
throws good horses.
Yeah, but I feel like they like the grass a lot. You don't? I have to.
I'm just thinking of dirt horses. That's all.
All right.
But out of a Dahir mare, so yeah, you're good to go.
I
as you we.
should now, like, I wish this was formulator on here because I would touch it and I would be like, well, Curlin Sires, 18% grass.
Well, he
winners.
probably does. He's a very good sire. Okay, where else are we going in this 1.25 mile race?
I'm going to go to the outside as well with Foothill. I think he's really intriguing in here. He gets third start off a layoff, and he hasn't run this far, but he's run really well at 9 furlongs before. And I think he's kind of got a good running style for it because when he has been allowed to, he can get into a really nice rhythm and stay relatively close to a quick pace. So I think that going the 1.25 miles where they might not go as quick, he's going to be in a nice catbird seat to be able to run well here.
What is wrong with Aligato, the 6, Pratt and Glatt?
Nothing, except that it's just going to be hammered down in price. But look, he's got the back class, right? He ran second in the Turf Classic 2 starts back. He's never tried this distance, but I think that he's going to be suitable for it. There's nothing to dislike about him, except I just think he's going to get hammered.
You know who I'm going to throw in there off a short layoff?
Do it.
At 20-1. That is the 4 7 Wonders for trainer Peter Urton. This horse is screaming, in my opinion, to go 1.25 miles.
Okay.
Frankie Dettori, Urton, coming off a layoff, comes out of a race with the next out winner. And he's not going to be 20-1. He's got the Dettori factor. Everybody is betting on Frankie, so that's going to kill my price. But I'm rather partial to 7 Wonders in this mile.
I wouldn't talk you off. And look at, I mean, all of his races, even his maiden race and his allowance, he's facing really good horses. Like, it's not your average run-of-the-mill allowance race, right?
Okay, race number 8 is the last race on the card. Also, the $5 Golden Hour double, the last race at Santa Anita, the last race at Golden Gate. I'm getting paid every time I say Golden Gate Fields today, so
Me too. Golden Gate, Golden. Oh no,
put another $5 in the kitty. You can wrap that later when we wrap.
Yes.
State bred maiden 50 going 6.5 furlongs on the main track. Top pick to the outside, Michelle, and that is Storm d'Oro, which is really interesting because we all picked up on this when this filly walked over for her very first start for Hector Palmer. I think I looked at you and Millie and we're like, what is the green tape doing on her hocks? So I ran over and grabbed Hector Palmer. I'm like, why is there green electrical tape tied above her hocks? Just like wrapped around.
So Ryan does this too.
Yeah,
the tape.
Explain.
So basically, if you put the tape on their hocks, it keeps them from knocking into themselves a little bit. So some horses that might be just a little closer cow hocked, because it feels awkward. Like you've put tape on cats' feet before, right? And you see them like walk like this. It's kind of similar. So it squeezes them like right here, and then they naturally walk with a little bit wider stance.
And the hocks are basically the elbows of the back legs, just above the hocks, just a piece of green electrical tape. If you watch,
it's a very quarter horse thing to do, though. Did Hector say like where he learned that from?
It's just old school. It's old school, and it's for horses that speedy cut. So you can imagine running down a road in a pair of sharp high heels like horseshoes, and if you keep hitting yourself, it's going to hurt. And he said since they put the tape on her hocks, she does not do that anymore, and she ran lights out. Now she's by Gato d'Oro,
who only has one horse.
One horse. This is the first and only horse this horse has ever sired. Gato d'Oro was trained by Hector Palmer. He's since been retired, but it's kind of a cool story, don't you think?
I don't know. Was it an accidental breeding? Was it like he got loose one day and then?
I think maybe he was either a shy breeder or infertile, but this is his only filly, and she ran lights out.
Yeah,
I bet on her that day. And it'll be interesting to see how she behaves in the paddock because she was pretty wound up. It's usually what they do in their second start.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Their second starts are usually when they can tip over the edge. So I'll be super interested to see her. In addition to Storm d'Oro, I like the horse to her inside. She's a lucky charm, a firster for Leo Powell. Mostly because when you look at this field, there's a lot of horses that have like big Sweet Halo's been knocking on the door. I mean, not a lot to differentiate, and she's a lucky charm we haven't seen yet, but normally I would say, oh, they're not going to be fit enough. But this filly's been consistently working for so long. I know she's going to be fit for the debut. So I thought that she was playable in here as well.
How about the 4? She's your second choice. That Sweet Hello with the blinkers on gets a rider change to Umberto Rispoli from Joe Bravo last time.
Yes, blinkers going on, like you said, last 2 outs, last 3 outs, really, knocking on the door here. So there's no reason she can't win, but she's also kind of been stuck on second. Very reminiscent to me of Dolly May earlier on in the card.
That'll do it. Those are Michelle's 8 picks.
Does that mean I don't have to work all day now because I just gave away all my picks?
Yeah. I mean, as long as the
Excellent.
first one wins, then you can take the rest of the day off. I got a couple more questions
All right.
to ask you.
Put my pen away here.
You've got 2 minutes. What's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
Golly, the most spontaneous thing I've ever done. I was at like a concert once and got up on stage and sang a song with the band.
Which band?
It was an emo band, or maybe not emo, but punk rock band. You probably wouldn't know them. They're called Guttermouth.
All right, one more. What would you be doing if you weren't doing what you're currently doing?
Housewife.
You'd be content at home.
No, I mean, like, before I came back to Santa Anita, I did key accounts. Key accounts is great. I'll probably be doing key accounts right now.
Explain key accounts.
So basically, when you are a player, an at-home player playing with your ADW, you like to get some special love and attention. And so we call those key accounts. Those would be the big money players or the most active players. And so when I worked for Bet America, I was the VIP manager. So I managed all our VIPs key accounts. So I would call them up, make sure they were happy, send some free money, take them on trips. And it was fun.
It was fun. All right. That is my host, my guest, one of my best friends, Michelle Yu. Close us out with a song.
What song?
Any song you want to sing.
It's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Michelle Yu, we'll see you in 30 minutes. Race 1 at the Great Race Place.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. Here are the changes. In the first, we have the program scratcher number 1, Mongolian Rocket. Scratch number 7, Chirac. Note that number 10 will run, and we do have some blinker notes in the first. Early pick 5 begins with race 1. The early pick 4 starts with the second, just the blinker note. Third begins the Rainbow 6, jackpot carryover, 26,000 on the 8 race card. Race 4 begins the late pick 5. No changes. In the fifth,